Hey, shalom, 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 everyone. My name is Zachariah Yahouda, and I'm coming back with another lesson prophesying the downfall of Babylon, aka America, home where all the gross abomination occur. Oh yeah, you know what I said? I'm gonna go into this real quick. Hold on, y'all. All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. My name is Zachariah Yahouda. I'm coming back with another lesson prophesying the downfall of Babylon, aka America, home where all the gross abomination occur. I'm just coming back with another lesson. Man, I don't know where to start at. So let's just open up with Isaiah 34 and set the tone for universal reckoning. Okay, summoning every nation to witness the decree of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. This is not a casual message. It is a summons that carries authority over all creation by addressing both nations and all that is therein. The prophecy establishes that divine judgment is global, encompassing land, people, and cosmic order. The solemnity of this command signals that what follows is both imminent and irreversible, a warning that cannot be ignored. The imagery prepares the readers for Edom as a case study of Yahweh's wrath, but the principle extends to all rebellious powers and people. Isaiah chapter 34, verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people, and let the earth hear, and all that is therein in the world, and all things that come forth of it. So this verse functions as a divine summons, a public notice of judgment meant to be heard by every corner of the earth. The call is both nation. The call to both nation and all that is therein emphasizes that no power, leader, or nation escapes Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai scrutiny. It foreshadows the complete devastation that will follow, signaling that what is coming is beyond human resistance or intervention. The text sets up a pattern seen throughout prophetic scripture. A warning is given first, witnesses are called, then judgment is executed, even before the description of Edom's fate. This verse establishes that principle of universal accountability and the certainty of divine justice. First Esdras, chapter 1, verses 21. It said, all the earth shall hear, and the nations shall see the punishment of the ungodly, for the Most High has commanded, and none can resist his word. Okay, so First Ezra mirrors Isaiah's global summon, showing that all creation must observe the execution of divine justice. It reinforces the concept of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's authority is absolute. No nation or power can resist or escape his command. Together, Isaiah 34 and 1 and First Ezra chapter 121 illustrate the prophetic consistency. Judgment is universal, unavoidable, and witnessed by all. So the Lord is judging, man. He bring that judgment to pass, man. Okay. I got a video clip I'm gonna play, and I hope y'all be edified. Fair use under the copyright statute of 1976.
Iran just forced Trump to abandon 13 U.S. military bases. The New York Times has reported that 13 American military bases across the Middle East are now all but uninhabitable. 4 weeks of Iranian missile and drone strikes have gutted them. $800 million in damage. Satellite imagery shows at least 17 U.S. military and diplomatic sites hit across the region. That is nearly half the entire fixed American footprint in the Gulf, wrecked in under a month. And right now, 40,000 troops who are stationed at those bases have been scattered into hotels and rented office space, while Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps broadcasts messages on Telegram asking civilians to report exactly which buildings the Americans are hiding in. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly how the Trump administration failed to protect these bases, and how Russia is actively helping Iran locate and strike American positions. But before we start, drop your thoughts in the comments. Join the discussion and let me know what you think of this mess. Will there be a ground invasion, or is it all just talk? First, let's go over the damage. On the 1st of March, a single Iranian Shahed-type drone struck a tactical operations center at Port Shuaibah in Kuwait. 6 American soldiers died. They were Army Reserve members from the 103rd Expeditionary Sustainment Command, based out of Des Moines, Iowa. One of them, Sergeant Declan Cody, was 20 years old. He was studying cybersecurity at Drake University, taking online classes while deployed overseas. He received a posthumous promotion from specialist to sergeant. Those 6 soldiers were not at their main base. They had been moved out of Camp Arifjan a week before as part of a dispersal plan to reduce the risk of mass casualties. Joey Hamer, the husband of Sergeant First Class Nicole Lamer, another one of the 6 killed, told the press that his wife had been relocated to what he described as a shipping container-style building at a civilian shipping port. The facility had no counter-rocket, artillery, or mortar defense system. According to CBS News, it had basically no drone defeat capability at all. 2 of 3 military sources told CBS they never heard a warning siren before the impact. And here's the detail that should disturb every defense planner watching this. The military knew this location was exposed. On CBS News reported that commanders were uncertain whether the Shuaibah Operations Center should have been activated at all because it lacked the most basic overhead protection against the exact weapon Iran had been using for years. The Shahed drone is not a secret. Russia has launched thousands of them against Ukraine. Iran has exported them across the Middle East. And yet the building where 6 Americans died had nothing to stop one. Internal military memos later revealed that Iranian intelligence had tracked the troop transfer to Shuaibah a full week before the strike. Quadcopter surveillance flights had been spotted overhead in the days prior. GPS transponders attached to small balloons were discovered near Patriot missile batteries in the area the following day. Iran knew exactly where they were, and the facility had no defense. Kuwait hosts roughly 13,500 American troops and sits closest to Iranian territory. To punishment across the board, Ali al-Salem Air Base took strikes that collapsed structures, destroyed an Italian MQ-9 Reaper drone, and damaged 2 Eurofighter Typhoons on the ground. Camp Bering's fuel and maintenance systems were hit. Camp Arifjan lost satellite communications and a tactical operations center. The U.S. Embassy in Kuwait was struck on March 2nd and shut down permanently. Staff received orders to destroy classified material and wipe servers. Kuwait International Airport had a fuel tank ignited by an Iranian drone. Even the Mina Al Ahmadi oil refinery was hit twice. Quick before we continue, thanks a lot for tuning in. Your support is what keeps this show going, and I appreciate you watching. As always,
okay, let's go into the scriptures. So the Lord is calling these nations, man, to some of these nations to court, man. And you know, and they being judged. They go to Psalms chapter 49, verses 1. It says, it begins, Psalm chapter 49, verses 1, what they call to wisdom and understanding, address to all people, regardless of status or power. The psalmist emphasizes that wealth and human strength are powerless in the face of death. It said the theme echoed the prophetic warning about judgment. This opening prepares the readers to consider the futility of trusting in material possession instead of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. The call is universal. Here it is, all people, meaning the message transcends social rank, geography, or political might. It aligns with the prophetic patterns of exposing human arrogance before divine authority, reminding the nations and individuals that judgment is impartial. Hear this, all ye people, and give ear, all ye inhabitants of the world. So Psalm chapter 49, verse 1. So this verse acts as a divine summon, similar to Isaiah chapter 34, verse 1, but with a focus on human folly and mortality. The psalm is addressed all ye people to stress that no one is exempt from understanding the truth about life, death, and divine justice. It established the universal nature of teaching, worldly wisdom, and the riches cannot shield anyone from Yahweh Hashem Yahushua's decree. The language give ear implies active attention, demanding reflection and acknowledgement, not passive listening. It sets the stage for issuing versus would contrast the temporary security of wealth and the external authority of power. Baruch chapter 3, verses 8, hear ye, O Israel, the commandment of life, and give ear and learn wisdom, and seek, hear out with all your heart. It says, seek her out with all your heart. So Baruch reinforces the call to attention, urging Israel, and by extension all people, to actively seek divine wisdom. The alignment with Psalm 49 and 1 shows that hearing alone is not sufficient. Understanding, obedience are required. Both text underscores that true security and life come from Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, not wealth or human power. Psalm chapter 41, verse 1, broken down in the same format. Okay, let's get it. It says, Yahweh Hashem voice in Isaiah 41 and 1 summons the distant nation, islands, and people into a posture of silence and attentive hearing before him. This summons is judicial in tone, and divine judgment calls all creation to pause, gather strength, and prepare to speak before the bars of Yahweh. Righteousness. The language evokes a courtroom scene. See, it said where every argument and defense must be presented before divine judgment is rendered. Okay, it says silence here is not mere quiet. It represents reverence, submission, and readiness to undergo divine examination. The verse also places cosmic creation and all people in a posture of accountability, reinforcing that Yahweh's judgment extends universally. Keep silent before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength, and let them come nearer. Then let them speak. Let us come nearer together to judgment. So the command, keep silent, is to call to stillness and attention, a prerequisite for divine revelation and judgment. The islands symbolize distant nations and far-off powers being summoned before the sovereign of all He said, letting the people renew their strength suggests a movement of preparation before presenting their case, but within Yahweh's sovereign framework. The invitation to speak and then come nearer together to judgment acknowledges that all voices will be heard, yet in the presence of the ultimate judge. This set a pattern we see throughout scriptures. First extended, then account, and finally stand before judgment. So this is what we're seeing right now. All right. It says, all right, let's get this one right here. Sirach chapter, better known as Ecclesiasticus 5. It said, my child, attend to my words, incline your ears unto my saying, your ear to my saying. Sirach uses the Hebrew concept of attentive hearing and preparation before the Lord's instruction and judgment, paralleling the summons to silence and attention in Isaiah 41 verses 1. This verse reflects in a wider wisdom transition, emphasizing attentive hearing as a prerequisite to understand the judgment. So in Sirach, attends to my words carries the same thematic weight as keeping silent before me. Both demands undivided attention before divine instruction. This reinforces the true hearing and involves quieting all other voices and perspectives to focus on Yahweh's truth. Both passages emphasize that the judgment begins with earnest listening and understanding under divine authority. Okay. And get Baruch chapter 3 verses 8. So this command, keep silent before me, calls for reverent stillness before divine judgment. The islands represent a far-off nation. We already read this. Okay, let's go here. The Baruch chapter 3 verse 8. See, today we are in See, today we are in exile. Matter of fact, let me do this. It says, see, we are today in our exile where you have scattered us to be a reproach and a curse and punish for all the iniquities of our ancestors who forsook the Lord our power. So both verses together show that judgment begins with recognition of sin and submission to Yahweh's righteous verdict over all creation. All right. Where did I read? Okay, let's go here. We'll go back and watch some more of the video because the Lord is judging these nations, man. He's judging these nations right now.
Please make sure to subscribe and like the video so I can keep bringing you these updates. Now here is where it gets structural. Kuwait was not the exception, it was the pattern. In Qatar, Iran struck Al Udeid Air Base, the largest American installation in the entire Middle East, home to the forward headquarters of U.S. Central Command, and only staffed by around 10,000 service members. The strike damaged an early warning radar system. Qatar said its Air Force shot down 2 Iranian Su-24 aircraft approaching from Iran on the 2nd of March. Qatar later arrested 10 people operating as an IRGC intelligence cell on its own soil, some trained specifically to operate drones. In Bahrain, an attack drone hit the communications infrastructure of the U.S. Fifth Fleet headquarters. Warehouses and satellite dishes across the naval base were wrecked. The Crown Plaza Hotel in Manama was struck, injuring 2 Department of Defense employees. In Saudi Arabia, Iranian missiles damaged 5 refueling tanker aircraft at Prince Sultan Air Base. Sergeant Benjamin Pennington of the 1st Space Brigade was wounded there on March 1st and died on March 9th. UAE satellite imagery from Airbus Defence and Space confirmed damage inside Al Dhafra Air Base. Shrapnel from intercepted missiles damaged the Burj Al Arab in Dubai. A Shahed drone detonated near the Fairmont Hotel in Palm Jumeirah, injuring 4. In Jordan, Iran destroyed at least 1 radar installation for the THAAD missile defense system. And in Iraq, the Islamic resistance in Iraq has claimed dozens of attacks since the war started. On March 3rd, the militia Soraya Awliya al-Dam launched drones at a hotel in Erbil suspected of housing American soldiers. On March 6th, a separate group struck the Arjan Ratana Hotel in Erbil with a direct drone hit. Most people assume this dispersal of troops is a temporary adjustment, a reasonable defensive posture while bases get repaired. In reality, these bases are not being repaired. They are being abandoned. The New York Times confirmed that 13 of them are now all but uninhabitable. Satellite analysis and verified video evidence identified at least 17 damaged American military and diplomatic sites across the theater. That is nearly half the entire fixed U.S. presence in the region, struck and degraded. The U.S. military, for the first time in its modern operational history, is running a war from hotel lobbies and converted office parks. Retired Master Sergeant Wes J. Bryant, a former Air Force Special Operations targeting specialist, put it directly. You cannot put all that equipment on top of a hotel. Some of it is unwieldy, and that is the polite version. What he is describing is a military whose command and control has been splintered from hardened infrastructure into improvised, unprotected civilian locations that were never designed to coordinate air campaigns, logistics chains, or intelligence operations. Sortie rates are down, coordination is degraded, targeting cycles are slower, and here's the part no one in America wants to say out loud. Iran is actively hunting these dispersed troops. The IRGC published a statement through Tazan news agency telling civilians across the Gulf that it is their Islamic duty to accurately report the hiding places of American terrorists and send the information on Telegram. On March 26th, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi posted on social media that American soldiers had fled their bases to hide in hotels. He urged Gulf hotels to refuse them service. Iran is now publicly accusing the United States of using Arab civilians as human shields. That is the exact same charge America and Israel have leveled against Hamas and Hezbollah for years. The accusation has been reversed. Stay with me. Well, because what Russia is doing behind the scenes to enable these strikes is the dimension of this war that changes everything about how you understand it. The Washington Post reported on March 6th that Russia is supplying Iran with targeting data on American military positions. NBC News confirmed through 4 independent sources that Moscow is feeding Tehran intelligence on the locations of U.S. warships, radar systems, and communications nodes. CNN reported that multiple Iranian drones struck locations where American troops had recently been present. One intelligence source told CNN this shows Russia still likes Iran very much. The Financial Times followed up on March 25th with a report that Russia is close to completing a phased delivery of attack drones to Iran. Western intelligence believes these are Goran 2 models, which are Russia's factory-built version of Iran's Shahed 136. Russia took that Iranian drone design, onshored its production during the Ukraine war, scaled it up in Russian factories, and is now shipping the finished product back to Iran through the Caspian Sea. If that drone pipeline is sustained, it could allow Russia to help Iran replenish strike inventory even after losses inside Iran. This is not improvised. Russia and Iran signed a deal in December 2025 for the delivery of 500 Verbaman portable air defense systems and 2,500 missiles to go with them. The military relationship was formalized months before a single bomb dropped. The supply line runs through Bandar Anzali on Iran's Caspian coast, which is why Israel struck that port, targeting warships, shipyard infrastructure, and the trade network connecting Moscow and Tehran. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated on March 24th that Ukrainian intelligence holds irrefutable evidence of Russia sharing military data with Iran. Zelensky added that Russia attempted to blackmail America by offering to stop the intelligence flow if the U.S. cut off Ukraine from its own intelligence support. CIA Director John Ratcliffe said on March 18th that Iran was seeking intelligence support from allies, including Russia. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told CBS News he is tracking everything. But Hegseth also told reporters that Russia and China are not really a factor in this war. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov responded to the Financial Times drone report with a single confirmation buried inside a denial. There are a lot of fakes going around right now, he said. One thing is true. We are continuing our dialogue with the Iranian leadership. Most people assume this war is a bilateral conflict between America and Iran. In reality, Russia is feeding Iran the coordinates, replacing its weapons, and using the war to drain American stockpiles that would otherwise go to Ukraine. The Washington Post reported this week that the Pentagon is now considering diverting air defense interceptors away from Ukraine and toward the Middle East because U.S. munitions are running low. An anonymous European diplomat told the Post that there are serious questions about how much the U.S. will keep providing to help.
Wow. So let's go here to Ezekiel chapter 38, verses 18. It said the world see alliances formed secretly, plotting against the righteous. It said Yahweh Hashem Yahushua pierced the veil of conspiracy and deceit, prideful nation, trusting schemes, thinking themselves hidden. Divine judgment is not delayed. It moves to at his perfect timing. All plots and secret counsel are open before the Most High, and it shall come to pass at the time when God shall come against the land of Israel, saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, that my fury shall come up in my face. So God represented the collective arrogance of nations conspiring against Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. People, it said that challenger leaks a covert alliance mirror the pride condemned here. The Lord's fury rises against all scheming, no matter how sophisticated. Human planet cannot escape his notice. Even modern conflicts are under divine scrutiny. Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 35 and 36, the Most High shall visit them in his wrath, and the sword of misery shall come upon the nation, and none shall escape his judgment. So all human plotting is temporary under Yahweh Hashem Yahushua's oversight. Covert military alliances are a part of the pattern of pride foretold in Scripture. Judgment is guaranteed in the nations. The nations rises against the righteous. Even a sophisticated modern tool like drones or intelligence are not hidden from him. The Most High ensures accountability and divine justice. Let me see something real quick. Hold on here. Oh man, shit. I'm gonna get a second Ezra chapter 15 verses 33 through 35. In the KJV it said, and from the land of Assyria, the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them, and in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. Are we not seeing this? Behold, cloud from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. Verse 35, and they shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down the great multitude of the stars upon the earth, and even their own stars, and blood shall be from the sword, unto the belly. Verse 36, and dung of men unto the camel's hope. Verse 37, it said, and there shall be a great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and tremble shall come upon them. Verse 38, and there shall come a great storm from the south and from the north and another part of the west. Verse 39, and a strong wind shall arise from the east and shall open it in the clouds which he raised up in wrath, and the stars stirred to cause fear toward the east and west wind shall be destroyed. So this is where we at, man. It said, verse 40, it said, and a great cloud, it said, and a great and mighty cloud shall be puffed up and fall upon the wrath of the stars, and